second tremor was felt in some parts of Cape Town this morning. Residents also reported feeling tremors in the city late last night. The Council of Geoscience says it cannot confirm that either of these events were as a result of an offshore earthquake that took place after 9 p.m. on Saturday night. The 6.2 magnitude earthquake struck about 1,600 kilometers off South Africa's coast. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, the earthquake was at the depth of about 10 kilometers. Cape Town's disaster risk management said in a statement that the tremor didn't appear to have caused any damage to infrastructure. Now, the tremor felt in Cape Town and surrounding areas shortly after 8:30 p.m. last night was not caused by the magnitude 6.2 earthquake that took place about 1,600 kilometers off South Africa's coast. It was initially thought that the two events were linked. Residents all over the city reported feeling the quake, which severely rattled homes and other buildings for about 3 to 4 seconds. Joining us now to explain the latest tremor to hit the country is Executive Manager for Applied Geosciences, Dr. David Khoza at the Council for Geoscience. Dr. Khoza, thank you so much for your time. Now, there seems to be some sort of confusion. We know that there were 2 seismic activities last night, with one being felt in Cape Town. Explain what happened to us.
Around 7:10 last night, we recorded a 6.2 magnitude earthquake, which happened, as you mentioned, offshore South Africa, over a distance of 1,600 kilometers. And about an hour and 50 minutes later, the National Seismic Network recorded a 2.7 magnitude earthquake. And this is the one that is related to the tremors that the communities in the Western Cape felt. And later on this morning, around 9:15 or so, we had another tremor, which was registered at 2.3 magnitude earthquake. So it was a much smaller event.
Now, Doctor, according to the Council for Geosciences, as well as the U.S. Geological Survey, the 6.2 magnitude earthquake struck about 1,600 kilometers off South Africa's coast, and it was in a depth of about 10 kilometers. Exactly how significant was this earthquake?
So by major standards, it is a big earthquake, obviously because it happened so many kilometers away from the shoreline in the ocean. We did not record any tsunamis associated with the earthquake. And we have these monitoring stations along the coast that tell us and trigger tsunami alerts. And once we get those, we alert the relevant authorities. But this particular quake did not cause any tsunami alerts.
Now, South Africa has relatively been a very safe country in as far as seismic or tectonic plate activities is concerned. Should we be worried as South Africans that something bigger is at play here?
Not necessarily. So we record these smaller earthquakes all the time. Over a number of years, we get hundreds of these earthquakes, and some of them, depending on where they occur, people do feel them. The windows get rattled once in a while. So they are not totally uncommon. I don't think that there is, for now, a need to be concerned. As I mentioned, that we have a network of seismic stations in the country that are recording on a 24-hour basis. So as and when they happen, we do record them. We identify the location, the depth at which they happen, and we alert the relevant authorities should there be a cause for alarm. But for now, we feel that there is no cause for alarm.
I mean, Dr. Khoza, I hear you, but under what circumstances should we be worried regarding tsunamis and concerns around, for instance, the safety of the Koeberg power stations or any other nuclear plant in this country, as an example, and in Johannesburg, having some of, mining problems recurring over the last couple of years?
Yeah, so, in fact, in South Africa, a lot of the seismic events that get recorded are related to mining activities, not necessarily the natural earthquakes. Once the earthquakes become, or the magnitude of the earthquakes become bigger, so, anything more than 3 magnitude becomes a source of concern, depending on where it happens. And we have had big earthquakes, particularly in the Western Cape. A while ago, there was a 6.3 magnitude earthquake that resulted in a lot of damage. But South Africa is sitting on a stable continent, so we are very lucky in that respect, in that we do not get these large events. So a lot of the events that we get are much smaller. Significant amount of them are related to mining activities, and we track those and we know exactly where they happen.
In relation to the aftershock that we experienced this morning, Capetonians experienced this morning, are we likely to have any today? Any predictions on any aftershocks?
Yeah, it's very important to mention that we cannot predict earthquakes, so we do not know when the next earthquake will happen. What we do know is that after particularly a significant event, that usually gets followed with a number of events and aftershocks, and those are expected. And how long that lasts, it's hard to say. It could be a couple of hours, it could be a number of days. It is difficult to say at this. But our scientists are looking at the information currently, and as and when the information comes in, we will update our things.
Well, it's safe to say then that Capetonians must brace themselves. All right, that was Dr. David Khoza, Executive Manager for Applied Geosciences, discussing yesterday's Cape Town earthquake.